திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். நம பார்வதீபதையே ஹர மகாதேவா. சிற்சபேசா சிவசிதம்பரம் சிவகார்த்திகேய நாம சங்கீர்த்தனம் சிவசுப்ரமண்யம் ஸ்ரீவள்ளிகாந்த ஸ்மரணம் சிவசுப்ரமண்யம். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். திருக்கயிலாய பரம்பரை மெய்கண்ட சந்தானம் திருவாவடுதுறை ஆதீனம் ஸ்ரீலஸ்ரீ 24வது குருமகா சந்நிதானம் அவர்களின் அருளாணியின் வண்ணம் மார்கழி மாதம் 11ஆம் நாள் எந்தை ஸ்ரீ மாணிக்க வாசக பெருமான் அருளிச் செய்த திரு எம்பாவையிலிருந்து ஒரு பாடல் விண்ணப்பம் செய்யப்படுகிறது. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஆதியும் மந்தமும் இல்லாரும் பெரும் கோதியாம் பாட கேட்டேயும் வாழ்த்தடங்கள் மாறி வளருதியோ வன் செவியோனில் செவிதால் மாறிவர் வார்கழல்கள் வாழ்த்திய வாழ்தோலி போய் வீதிவாய் கேட்டலுமே விம்மி விம்மி மெய் மறந்து போதாரமளியின் மேல் இன்றும் புரண்டு இங்கள் ஏதேனும் ஆகாள் கிடந்தாள் என்னேயல் நீ இதேயும் தோழி பரிசேலோரியம் பாபாய். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.
சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். நம பார்வதீபதையே ஹரஹர மகாதேவா. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனை போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். I take pleasure in worshipping the golden feet of Srila Sri Guru Maha Sannidhanam, who holds the 24th Guru Vida of Thirukkayilaya Parambarai, Meykanda Santhaanam, Thiruavaduthurai Adheenam, with the grace of Sri Nanama Nadaraja Perumal, Adheenam Guru Mudalvar Sri Namashivayamoorthigal, and Adheenam Kuladevam Srimat Madhava Sivakumar with my mind, speech, and body. According to the divine order of Srila Sri Guru Maha Sannidhanam, on this 11th day of the ongoing Danur month's reflection on Saivism, we are going to reflect on the explanation of the first verse of Thiruvempavai, composed by Sri Manika Vasagar. Sri Manika Vasagar arrived at Thiruvannamalai. He rejoiced, thinking how the mountain, which has appeared as a fiery, unapproachable form on the day, now presented itself as a source of immense spiritual fulfillment, and he entered the town. He beheld the temple. There he saw his spiritual master, who had imparted wisdom to him and graced him under the shade of the Kurunda tree, now manifested as Annamalayar. He beheld with his own eyes and joyful prized his spiritual master, who represents all forms, as Shiva with a manifested form, as Shiva with a transcendent form, as Shiva, the primal source of the supreme knowledge, and as the form such as the Sivalingam, fast and worshipped in the holy temple, and as all of the 25 forms of Shiva that occasionally manifest in the desired form for his devotees, bestowing grace upon them before disappearing, all of which he saw represented in Lord Annamalayar of the Thiruvannamalai temple. The time when Sri Manika Vasagar arrived at Thiruvannamalai was during the 10 days prior to the Thiruvavaduthurai star in the month of Danu. The young girls of Thiruvannamalai would wake up at dawn draw column in their courtyards, light lamps in their homes, and then go to the pond to take holiday. They joyfully sang the praises of God with melodious music. Shimanikavasakar witnessed this. These experiences become poems. He composed the Thiruvempavai, a collection of 20 verses, as if it were spoken through the voices of those young girls. The term Thiruvempavai should be understood by separating it as Thiru and Empavai. Since the phrase Empavai appears at the end of each verse, it came to be known as Thiruvempavai. Thiruvempavai refers to the practice during the pre-dawn hours of the month of Dhanur, where young unmarried girls wake each other up, go together to a pond for a holiday, and while doing so, contemplate the divine form of the goddess they worship, imagining her in the form of a doll, describing her attributes, and thus awakening others as well. Mahavidwan Dandapani Desika says that the term can be interpreted in 3 ways. First term, taking Thiru as an auspicious term, and since Shiva represents auspiciousness, one interpretation is Our Lady who is imbued with Shiva's auspiciousness. Second one, taking Thiru as knowledge, another interpretation is Our Lady who is represented as knowledge. And the third one, taking Thiru as beauty that is described to all who behold it. The third interpretation is Our beautiful Lady. Our holy verse grants both these benefits to those who desire them, worldly pleasures such as reign on a husband and liberation, which is the attainment of detachment and blessings of the Lord's feet. The songs in this section are called Pavai songs. Tolkappiyam laid down rules for both Pavai songs and Thiru Ammanai songs. In Sangam literature, these observations of bathing in the month of Margali is referred to as bathing in the month of Thai. Information about the Pavai fast appears in several texts, including Natchinai, Kalitogai, Aikurunuru, Thirupavai Vyakyanam, Bhagavatam Pattangam. The old Thiruperandurai Puranam and Thiruvavaduthurai Puranam also contain references to bathing in the month of Margali. Mahavidwan Dandapani Desika has provided a detailed explanation of what Thiruvempavai is, using an old reference and an old commentary on Thiruvasagam. The soul is inherently capable of understanding and realizing that God is the supreme being and of attaining salvation by worshipping Him. To activate this salvation through worship, true spiritual knowledge is necessary. As the soul progresses through stages of spiritual development, contemplating the nature of the ultimate reality, becoming immersed in it, rejoicing in it, and experience supreme bliss. It may sometimes be assailed by the impurities of worldly desires. Unable to bear this separation, the soul laments, "You have abandoned me." Until then, it marvels at the divine grace that had been helpful in relieving the truth. This leads to the descent or fall of the divine power. Consequently, the soul, realizing its own true nature as Sakti, engages in activities like bathing, playing games such as Amanai, and gathering flowers like a woman. And in all these activities, it perceives its divine beloved God and becomes overwhelmed with emotion. The first stage of this experience of the descent of Sakti is depicted in the Thiruvempavai. That is why the old commentary stated that it marvels at Sakti. According to the old commentary on the Thiruvasagam, the first 10 verses of the Thiruvempavai, which depicts several girls waking up a young girl and taking her to the bathing place, symbolizes the awakeness of the primordial impurity, Malasakti, by the Trodana Saktis. The joyful bathing described in the next 10 verses signifies the manifestation of God's grace, divine grace, and the worship of Supreme Being, Parai. The Agatya Sutra states, Thiruvempavai praised and spoke of the 10 aspects of the goddess. Lord Sadashiva, whose form is a will that is identical to the knowledge and action that arose in Parai, activates Manomadi Sakti in the Sakti Mandala of the Maheshwara Tattva. This Sakti creates Sarvapuda Damini, which in turn activates Bala Kramatini. This Sakti then activates Balavikarni, which activates Kali, which activates Rautri, which activates Jeshuta, and which finally activates Vama. Through the command of the 9 Saktis thus activated, Anandadevar, who presides over Maya, causes impure Maya to function, and the creation of the universe takes place. Every Shaivoti performed this method of creation at the beginning of their Shiva worship. Observing this with understanding is the essence of the Thiruvempavai penance. Manikavasagar, who is at the highest level of spiritual wisdom, descends from his exalted stage to uplift the people of the world to his level of experience and imparts his teachings by portraying the divine energies as young girls. Thus, the central theme of Thiruvempavai is young girls bathing. The first 10 verses describes young girls walking each other up and going together to bath while singing the praises of God. The next 10 verses describe the act of bathing itself. The first verse of Thiruvempavai is structured as a song where a deeply devoted young girl who wakes up on her own at dawn without needing anyone to wake her, going to the house of another girl who had said she would also observe the fast and come for the ritual bath but still sleeping, and wakes her up. Shall we look into the verse? Verse number 1. ஆதியும் அந்தமும் இல்லா அரும்பெரும் ஜோதியை யாம் பாட கேட்டேயும் வாழ்த்தடங்கள் மாதே வளருதியோ வன்செவியோ நின்செவிதான் மாதேவன் வார்கழல்கள் வாழ்த்திய வாழ்த்தளிப்போய் வீதி வாழ் கேட்டலுமே விம்மி விம்மி மெய்மறந்து போதார் அமளியின் மேல் நின்றும் புரண்டிங்கன் ஏதேனும் ஆக்கால் கிடந்தால் என்னே என்னே ஈதே என் தோழி பரிசேலோர் என்பாவாய். ஆதியும் அந்தமும் இல்லா அரும்பெருஞ்சோதி, Lord Shiva was no beginning or end, is the rarest of all the rarest things, the greatest of all great things, and magnificent light. Yam pada, as we sing his praise, Keteyum, as you hear it, Valtadangan, bright-eyed, Made, beautiful girl, lovely girl, dear girl, Valardiyu, or is sleeping. Kan Valarudal means sleeping. Vanseviyu Ninsevidan, is your ear deaf? Mahadevan Varkalalgal, the long and strong legs of Mahadeva. Valtiya Valtulipoi, the greetings we greeted was Vidivai Ketalumi. Immediately upon hearing it on the street, Vimmi Vimmi Meimarande, showing uncontrollably and losing all self-awareness, and Podar Amali in May Nintum Purandingan. Podar Amali means flower bed. Rolled off the bed, covered with flowers, and fell to the ground. Yedenu Makal Kidandal. She was lying there, unconsciousness, completely helpless. Yenne Yenne, Ideyan Toli Parise. What, oh what, is the state of my friend? Yelori Empavai. This is the phrase that appears at the end of all 20 verses of Thiruvempavai. This verse refers to 2 categories of young girls who are about to go for the ritual bath. The first rite of the penance. First category, the matured soul, having attained divine experience and purification from impurities, possesses intense love, and upon hearing the Lord's name, loses its self-awareness, becoming immersed in divine bliss and remaining inactive. And the second category, the immature soul, even upon hearing the Lord's holy name, remains steeped in ignorance. This verse illustrates these 2 states. The greatest treasure to behold upon walking in the morning in Shiva, morning is Shiva. The reason eyes have been given to us is to behold the Lord Shiva. He appears as a light that is a feast for the eyes. He relieves everything. Yet you keep your eyes tightly shut, refusing to see him, and remain immersed in darkness. Is that right? Asks the first girl. You cannot force someone to say something they have absolutely no desire to say. You're a beautiful woman with unwavering love for God. Should you let this opportunity time slip away? Is it fair to make the eyes which enjoy the light while awake suffer in the darkness while asleep? See us. Sri Manika Vasagar describes God as Adiyum Andamum Illa Arum Perum Jodi. Adi means origin and Anda means end, dissolution. All things with form are perceivable and have a beginning and an end. But God, however, exists without beginning or end. As an eternal and timeless entity, he is a great radiance, invisible not only to the intellect but also to the senses. He creates and dissolves all the manifestation of Maya, and in the cause of them all, he has no cause for him. He alone is the one worthy of refuge, worship, and meditation for all living beings. Arum Perum Jodi, that means he is the rarest of all things considered rare, the one who is in the form of light. Thirumurai categorizes the divine light into 5 types: cosmic light, individual light, mental light, wisdom light, and Shiva light. Of these, cosmic light represents the sun, moon, and stars found in each universe. Individual light, the light of the soul within the body, residing in its consciousness, which is the cause of the destruction of impurities. And third one, mental light, the light that perceives the soul as the 4 aspects of the sun, moon, fire, and color. And the fourth one, wisdom light, that which serves as the source of the emerge of the 4 forms of speech as a manifestation of the supreme sound, Paranada. And the fifth one, Shiva light, the boundless light in whose presence in 4 lights: cosmic light, individual light, mental light, and wisdom light vanish like darkness, and which shines in all living beings. The light that appeared as a massive blaze of radiance when Thirumal and Brahma searched for its beginning and end. The light that simultaneously dissipates both the formless inner darkness of ego and the outer darkness. Next, Yam Pada. As we sing his praises, in this context, we refer to young girls who have attained spiritual maturity through self-awakening. How do they sing? They sing that they do not possess the ability or the enlightened understanding to fully comprehend and describe God with complete truthfulness, and therefore they sing of him as the beginningless and endless magnificent light. Next, Keteyum. Even after hearing it, after being told without any sense of guilt that you overslept, forgetting about the fast and the duty and the decision we all made the previous day, and that you were in a state where others had woke you up, you are not getting up and rushing here in a hurry. Your ears are deaf, unable to hear the glory of Shiva. Why? This is the situation. Let's look at the situation of another angle. Mahadevan Varkalargal, Mahadeva's feet, whose glory reaches the hell, are the ultimate expression of divine grace. These feet, renewed for their glory and kind nature, are the radiance of the Vedas and a symbol of victory over the 3 impurities. Since the Lord's feet represent his divine grace, which is Sakti, the verse praising Mahadeva's glorious feet as an expression of honors towards Sakti. It is a verse of praise offered to them. Valthu represent a collection of words that describe the blessings, power, and grace bestowed by God. Valtholi Poi, that means there was the sound of the phrase we offered about the mighty feet of Mahadeva. Vidivai Ketalumi, that means to those nearby, the entire form of the words is visible. Those evoking and stimulating emotion, understanding. But if it comes from somewhere far away, only the sound of the song is here. That alone elevated her in a high state. Vimmi Vimmi Meemarande, because he possesses intense love, upon hearing the sounds of the song, she sobs uncontrollably, she tears of joy and falls down, lying there in a state of bliss and self-forgetfulness. Self-forgetfulness, loss of self-awareness. She was lying in a luxurious bed, the delicate girl who sleeps on the soft, flower-like bed might have woken up upon feeling the hardness of the floor when she rolled over and fell. Yet she lies there in a state of unconsciousness. Her mind was active only until it melted away. Beyond that point, she lost consciousness. She lay there, unaware of having rolled over or fallen. In this, the bird indicates the worldly pleasure derived from the enjoyment of the senses. The sound of blessings that indicates the five-letter mantra, the word of instruction, the word of instruction. And weeping upon hearing it indicates the joy and emotion of blissful wonder. Forgetting oneself indicates the experience of supreme bliss. Lying down indicates the state of being immersed in the experience and becoming inactive. Because she was lacking of worldly desires, the ground, which had become Siva himself, became her guiding star. The soul perceived itself as distant from the senses and embraced his first holy feet. First holy feet, the divine feet of the Lord. Those who have attained divine consciousness will not engage in worldly affairs, such as rituals and religious practices. Similarly, see to reminder in a state of inaction. Reminder does not mean she lay there like a stone, devoid of knowledge. It means she remained in a state, experimental awareness, where the essence of the auspicious sound was none other than the glory of the Lord himself. While her situation is like that, we are still sleeping even after we sang. If you are my friend, shouldn't you be like her? What kind of state is this? Yedi in Toli Parise, she asks. In this verse, three young girls appear. One is the one who awakens others. Another is one who is lost in sleep. The third is one who is lost in bliss upon hearing the sounds of praise. Among these three, the one who awakens others represents the soul in a state of complete maturity. In this state, it engages in pledge, penance, charity, worship, and prayer, singing and praising God. It calls upon others to join it. The one who remains deeply asleep even after being awakened represents the soul bound by anavam, wrapped in darkness, and lying ideally without remembering God in a state of degradation. The one who is lost in bliss upon hearing the sound of praise represents the soul in a state of perfect purity, whose mind melts like a wax in a flame upon hearing his name, and which have transcended worldly consciousness, is immersed in divine bliss and experiences supreme joy. So, there is no need to worry about the pure soul. She will not be affected by anything. We are awakening you who are born in the state of degradation. Arise, bathe, observe the fast, and sing. Let us also attain her state. Thus, Sri Manikavasagar concludes the first verse of Thiruvempavai. With this, our reflection today concludes. We will meet again tomorrow with the second verse of Thiruvempavai. Thiruchitrambalam.